Coincidentally, I've been here since 2019, April, and I've never faced any quarantine or any lockdown anywhere in my time during COVID. But then just 10 days ago, they basically locked down most of Shekou, which is where I live, and they locked down my community in particular, which is the Shuiwan 1979 building. So that was almost a 10-day lockdown for me and my first experience with that. It was an interesting experience because we have a garden on our 4th floor. So, you know, we used to go down there all the time. But just walking outside gave me that feeling of fresh air. The first thing I did was just went for a walk around my block. Yeah, with the dog. During the lockdown, they were great. They let us go into our 4th floor garden area, and it's a very big garden. And it was actually really interesting because for all the negative parts of a lockdown, it felt like we had a very tight community. I mean, all of a sudden, everybody was playing badminton. There were kids rollerblading around. All the dog owners were hanging out, having a picnic. So you never see that garden that full with people. And that got me thinking a lot about the importance of community, because I really like that feeling of everyone together. You know, not only did you not feel alone, but you also felt like, oh, I can actually get to know my neighbors. Because before the lockdown, any normal day, people just live in their apartment and they leave. But nobody really kind of hangs out. During the lockdown, I started to appreciate, as I mentioned, this sense of community and this sense that, like, my neighbors, we ended up hanging out with them. They came over for some wine and we played some games. When we're basically realizing that these big problems of our life are actually the most important things, and all the small daily problems that we think about every day are not that important. And also what was interesting was WeChat, because 1979 has this WeChat community of, I think, 250 people in the group I was in. That's not a very active group. I never pay attention, but that group was thriving. I mean, everybody was talking about everything. Before is, okay, lockdown is perceived as a negative. It's restraining, but it's also safe. It provides safety in terms of not letting the virus spread. So that was the superficial thoughts, like right before the lockdown. In the beginning, I was like everybody else. I mean, I was a little bit, I'd say, uncomfortable and anxious. Like, how long is this gonna last? You know, how am I gonna work from home and do everything without my main computer? For me, there was 2 options. I could either complain and just get like really, you know, anxious, or kind of just accept and absorb the situation and trust that this is for the better interest of us. As far as things I would suggest, I mean, maybe some simple things like, I wish the app was more English friendly. I wish there was more English bilingual documentation, signs out there, because there are foreigners that live here and it's very Chinese centric. I have a friend, he's a Chinese doctor, and the amount of work he has to do for this is amazing. And I don't know how you do that. And all of these volunteers that are managing the lines and testing, it's a lot of work. And I do not underestimate that. And we actually really appreciate the community coming together to do all this volunteer work. So to the doctors, to the nurses, to all the volunteers, thank you. Because it's made it pretty easy for us, you know, and we probably don't give them enough gratitude for this, because we as humans like to complain about everything. But there's like a lot of benefit that's happened because of a lot of the volunteers. So I give a lot of regard to the volunteers. Yeah.